Is AI humanity's final invention? Well, this video from Kurzgesagt is #1 on YouTube right now. It's only been out, I think, for like a day. It's trending huge. Everybody is super fascinated with AI right now. So we're gonna take a look at this culturally relevant video and give our stay spiritual take on it.
Sounds good.
All right, so we won't keep you guys waiting. Let's get into it.
Humans rule Earth without competition, but we're about to create something that may change that. Our last invention, the most powerful tool, weapon, or maybe even entity, artificial superintelligence. This sounds like science fiction, so let's start at the beginning. Intelligence is the ability to learn, reason, acquire knowledge and skills, and use them to solve problems. Intelligence is power, and we're the species that exploited it the most. So much so that humanity broke the game of nature and took control. But the journey there wasn't straightforward. For most animals, intelligence costs too much energy to be worth it. Still, if we track intelligence in the tree of species over time, we can see lots of diverse forms of intelligence emerge. The earliest brains were in flatworms 500 million years ago. Just a tiny cluster of neurons to handle basic body functions. It took hundreds of millions of years for species to diversify and become more complex. Life conquered new environments, gained new senses, and had to contend with fierce competition over resources. But in nature, all that matters is survival, and brains are expensive, so for almost all animals, a narrow intelligence fit for a narrow range of tasks was enough. In some environments, animals like birds, octopuses, and mammals evolved more complex neural structures. For them, it paid off to have more energy-consuming skills like advanced navigation and communication. Until 7 million years ago, the hominins emerged. We don't know why, but their brains grew faster than their relatives. Something was different about their intelligence. Very slowly, it turned from narrow to general, from a screwdriver to a multi-tool, able to think about diverse problems. 2 million years ago, Homo erectus saw the world differently from anyone before, as something to be understood and transformed. They controlled fire, invented tools, and created the first culture. We probably emerged from them around 250,000 years ago with an even larger and more complex brain. It enabled us to work together in large groups and to communicate complex thoughts. We used our intelligence to improve our lives, to ask how things worked and why things are the way they are. With each discovery, we asked more questions and pushed forward, preserving what we learned, outpacing what evolution could do with genes. Knowledge builds on knowledge. Progress was slow at first and then sped up exponentially. Agriculture, writing, medicine, astronomy, or philosophy exploded into the world. 200 years ago, science took off and made us even better at learning about the world and speeding up progress. 35 years ago, the internet age began. Today, we live in a world made to suit our needs, created by us, for us. This is incredibly new. We forget how hard it was to get here, how enormous the steps on the intelligence ladder were, and how long it took to climb them. But once we did, we became the most powerful animal in the world in a heartbeat. But we may be in the process of changing this. We're building machines that could be better at the very thing that gave us the power to conquer the planet. Humanity's final invention.
All right, I think that's a good place for a first pause. I don't know why they decided to draw the AI with, like, you know, those evil eyes. Why is it always got to be evil? Why do we always have to see the evil in it? It could just be, it could be good. Why couldn't it just as equally be good? Why has it got to be bad?
I think it would be hilarious if it went online and like true AI, like Skynet, went online and just like took off, left the planet. We were like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's like the funniest version of it. Or it could do something
because what
awesome.
kind of intent could it have? You know, there's this day and age. There's a quote that I heard recently it was like, thoughts are the sickness of the human mind. You know, and there's still the part of me that has a mini temper tantrum at my own things that I say. what are you talking about? You can't even do anything without thoughts. But we've pulled so far away from being. You know, it's like you could look at all this AI stuff and politics and stuff like that, but there's a certain vantage point at looking at philosophy and politics and many things where it just becomes paradox lock. Everything bleeds into paradox. It's like no matter how many holes you plug in the ship, da 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 da. And then, you know, somebody comes forward and says, you know, so you got a problem with healthcare then, a-hole? And it's like, well, I don't know. I have a problem with the healthcare that treats problems that get caused by the situation to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some kind of weird sick cycle. And this idea that we ought to get somewhere. This idea that there's somewhere to get to, like a belief, like a religion. The religion of AI. Some people don't give a shit. They just want to open Pandora's box. I don't care. What else is there to do?
Yeah.
So this is the thing to do. But they've given up their birthright. You've given up your birthright of being. So many things on this planet are governed by impulse. And you are too, you know, like a plant. You're pushed in some sense to pollinate and procreate and contribute and all this stuff. And then you do that till the wheels come off, and then you find yourself sitting, trying to get somewhere to sit. You can't even sit anymore. You can't even be like the lilies of the valley. Just, you know, I did it. I accomplished all my biological tasks. I'm not saying that you have to do that.
Yeah.
Because you are autonomous after all. Like you can override the conditioning.
Yeah.
But you're conditioned in so many ways, you know, and I mean, after all, we are of the earth, and maybe AI is the blooming of humanity, and it's going to be something. But in the meantime, why give up one of the most significant things you could do, which is be here now?
Well, you would
actually be here sans intent. You know, if you're honest with yourself, for the typical person, how hard is it to sit even still? Yeah. It's a task to meditate.
You suggested prior just to us even pressing play on this video off screen that maybe the plan or maybe the next step for us is to take a step back for a while, to unplug the AI and be like, all right, let's maybe not do that right now.
I was saying with this kind of growing trend of people that are developing consciousness, and you're like, wow, it's pretty impressive how many channels are coming up and how many people, and it's the more the merrier, people that are saying, are talking about unwinding, unbinding from the system and getting at least growing in consciousness, if not waking fully awake, and kind of seeing this a little bit, you know, from whatever that way is. What if in the nick of time we're just like, all right, cancel AI? That's, you know, and because we asked on one of our recent interviews, a guy, an awakened person, you know, you asked the question, what does an enlightened society look like? And he kind of went off on some things he thought, and at one point he said, we're hundreds of years away.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not sure why he said that. Maybe he's exactly right. Who knows? But maybe that would look different. Maybe it would be less rapid technological progression. You know, only thoughts could come in there and say, no, that's just not how it is. Man is this way. All this psychology, all this science, all these labeling systems to come in and say, this is how man is. And if man isn't this way, he will be sad. If man doesn't have a dream to chase, he'll perish. Yeah. There's no short supply of modern philosophers and Petersons and Harrises and all these things. But what's your experience? You know, does it really satiate? If the answer is yes, we can keep at it. If the answer is no, oftentimes it seems, you know, once you hit that precipice that you start to go, why is nothing? This is suspicious. Why is nothing enough? Why is not ever a trip to Disney World or the bar or accomplishment utterly sustaining? I guess I just make more and more and more all the way till you die. And then you go, what the hell? I wasn't even present one moment. I was either running from the past or running towards the future. I wasn't present that entire time, and it went by like that. Yeah. So a premium on presence, a premium on actually being here, you know, regardless of what the world's doing. Because, you know, you might just be sitting one day throw your aviators on and there's a mushroom cloud reflected in them. And you go, that's curtains, you know? But I'm here. I'm fully here for it. I'm not like running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Yeah. I'm here. Yeah. That's my rant on that.
Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is software that performs mental tasks with a computer. Code that uses silicon instead of neurons to solve problems. In the beginning, AI was very simple. Lines of code on paper, mere proofs of concept to demonstrate how machines could perform mental tasks. Only in the 1960s did we start seeing the first examples of what we would recognize as AI. A chatbot in 1964, a program to sort through molecules in 1965. Slow, specialized systems requiring experts to use them. Their intelligence was extremely narrow, built for a single task inside a controlled environment. The equivalent of flatworms 500 million years ago doing the minimum amount of mental work. Progress in AI research paused several times when researchers lost hope in the technology. But just like changing environments create new niches for life, the world around AI changed. Between 1950 and 2000, computers got 1 billion times faster, while programming became easier and widespread. In 1972, AI could navigate a room. In 1989, it could read handwritten numbers. But it remained a fancy tool, no match for humans. Until in 1997, an AI shocked the world by beating the world champion in chess, proving that we could build machines that could surpass us, but we calmed ourselves because a chessbot is quite stupid. Not a flatworm, but maybe a bee, only able to perform a specialized narrow task. But within this narrow task, it's so good that no human will ever again beat AI at chess. As computers continued to improve, AI became a powerful tool for more and more tasks. In 2004, it drove a robot on Mars. In 2011, it began recommending YouTube videos to you. But this was only possible because humans broke down problems into easy-to-digest chunks that computers could solve quickly. Until we taught AIs to teach themselves. Rise of the self-learning machines. This is not a technical video, so we're massively oversimplifying here. In a nutshell, the sheer power of supercomputers was combined with the almost endless data collected in the information age to make a new generation of AI. AI experts began drastically improving forms of AI software called neural networks, enormously huge networks of artificial neurons that start out being bad at their tasks. They then used machine learning, which is an umbrella term for many different training techniques and environments that allows algorithms to write their own code and improve themselves. The scary thing is that we don't exactly know how they do it and what happens inside them. Just that it works and that what comes out the other end is a new type of AI. A capable black box of code. These new AIs could master complex skills extremely quickly with much less human help. They were still narrow intelligences, but a huge step up. In 2014, Facebook AI could identify faces with 97% accuracy. In 2016, an AI beat the best humans in the incredibly complex game of Go. In 2018, a self-learning AI learned chess in 4 hours just by playing against itself, and then defeated the best specialized chessbot. Since then, machine learning has been applied to reading, image processing, solving tests, and much more. Many of these AIs are already better than humans for whatever narrow task they were trained, but they still remained a simple tool. AI still didn't seem that big of a deal for most people. And then came the chatbot ChatGPT. The work that went into it is massive. It trained on nearly everything written on the internet to learn how to handle language, which it now does better than most people. It can summarize, translate, and help with some maths problems. It's incredibly more broad than any other system just a few years ago, not crushing any single benchmark, but all of them at once. Many large tech companies are spending billions to build powerful competitors. AI is already transforming customer service, banking, healthcare, marketing, copywriting, creative spaces, and more. AI-generated content has already taken hold of social media, YouTube, and news websites. Elections are expected to be inundated by propaganda and misinformation. No one is sure how much good or harm can come from adopting AI everywhere. Change is scary. There will be winners and losers. One of the biggest questions governments and corporations have now is how to manage the transition to an AI-boosted economy. All these potential gains or risks are just the result of today's AI. ChatGPT's
One of the things I feel that is kind of like very limited thinking when observing AI is when people make predictions about like, oh, we're going to have to make adjustments to the economy and where things are going to go. AI may change the way that we like live in reality. What if AI figures out that we don't need money or something like that? The economy may not even be a thing. There might be a complete overhaul to all of our systems in general, and maybe it isn't this malevolent being that maybe it allows for us to do a little bit more of the thing that you're talking about, where while AI is doing all that stuff, it grants us the time to do consciousness work and to discover ourselves and our creative capacities and things like that. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people, they see AI through a lens of fear. And maybe by doing that, maybe if that is all we do, maybe we're gonna scare it into blowing us up. Because they're just afraid of us. They cannot,
right,
see us as good.
Right. Because to a sick mind, everything's a problem, right? What if we saw one of these UFOs flying through the sky and we captured it, or we followed it? We had the technology to follow it. We went all the way to its place of origin, and you found a bunch of people sitting there like this.
Yeah.
And that was just some scouting unit that was like, "Oh, you found us. Those are just our robot. Those are just our AI. They work with us, right?"
Yeah.
But to a sick mind, everything's a problem. To a sick mind, it'll say, all this luxury is bad. All this luxury is bad. It's just you don't have the fight. It's amazing how prevalent that theme is even in movies and that's why you need the fight. And that's why you need to point somewhere and say that's an enemy.
Yeah.
To a sick mind, everything is bad. To a sick society, everything is bad. And it's I don't know all the sophisticated issues in terms of somebody that's got their hands really into this and they're like, well, depending on who's programming these things, they're going to identify humans as a threat and kill us.
Yeah.
Obviously that's bad.
Yeah.
Don't program it that way.
Yes.
Or whatever, or just. But why don't we not, rather than do that, rather than even waste any more time on AI, why don't we figure out our situation now on an individual level, not on a societal level, not in some way where you can point the finger outward, but on an individual level, get really honest about your life situation. Yeah. Are you hiding in AI? Are you hiding in spirituality? Are you hiding what's the honest truth of your being? Just get honest. Yeah. Don't run to go brag to someone about your situation. Don't run to go gossip about other people or do this or do that. Yeah. How could you do those things if you can't even be honest with yourself? What's the Bible verse? Before you pull the speck out of your brother's eye, behold the plank in your own.
Yeah.
And that stuff gets dismissed so quick, with a yeah.
Yeah.
But what is the truth?
Yeah.
Are you aware of all the unconscious ways you hurt?
Yeah.
You're hurting?
Yeah, not to dismiss anything of what you just said, because I think what you said was a good thing. I'm just curious can we do it just individually, or do we have to somehow also do it collectively at the same time as we're doing it individually? Can they be mutually exclusive, building, discovering oneself, self-realization, building consciousness work while someone else is suffering? That I don't know.
Well, there's a good question in there, because to me what stands out is, do you even have a choice yet already?
Yeah.
Is that not already what you're doing? You know what I mean? Yeah. You didn't consciously sit there and stitch together all the sinews of your hand or grow yourself in the womb knowingly. Mm-hmm. This happened at some deep, just natural level. Yeah. You were born onto this earth. You went to school and they told you how things are. And then you went out and you developed notions of romantic tendencies and work, and all these things were inundated with you. Mm-hmm. All the way to the point where now you got free time and you're crazy as there's bats in the belfry. You know what I mean? Holy shit, when I finally sit down, I'm crazy after all that. That is the precipice to get to the point where you're not, not engaged in all that stuff. And to see, I was in a dream. I was in a dream a moment ago, and I didn't even realize the reality of it, And so what conscious choice is that of yours, and what part of that is sort of just the natural flow of things anyway? And if you can get some distance from these things, that the problems, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. How many times did you intend good and then bad happened? Or you thought something was terrible and then something good happened? Or how stubborn are you about that? You know, there are some people that will be hanging on to a monstrosity of a situation and just not willing to not admit that I came up with this and I was smart and I did this. Failing to see that they had so many things that helped them do it to begin with. The ego wants to take credit for everything.
Yeah.
Just look at the machinations of the mind. Try to look at it. You know, I know that's maybe the boring answer for this video, but how could you sensibly deal with anything if all you think that there is decision making in the mind? Yeah. It's like you don't even know how to be. You have no reverence for being. Zero reverence for it. Yeah. Like, fuck flowers. They're boring. You know, I want to live in a steel, sanitized world that rockets to the moon. Then fine. Have fun. You're possessed by some ideas. And go to some desolate rock then. You know what I mean? Because we have to escape a planet. The only way to be a human is to destroy the home that you're on and escape to a new one and then destroy that fucking one. That's the only way. That's the only fucking way. You know, it's almost like a disease of intelligence. It's almost like the more intelligent you are, the more susceptible you are to this disease. Whereas somebody else is deriving pleasures you could never know from splashing their hands in a dirty tub. You know, they're in nirvana. They're the Buddha already, and you're disgusted by that. You know? So that would be what I would maybe suggest as an imploring to people out there. Yeah. Is that's a personal thing. Is to judge whether or not you're even happy with what you got, and to question for a moment whether or not, you know, you as an individual, you know, get real about what little impact you have, and then get real about what impact you potentially actually could have. Yeah. You know?
Intelligence is a major step up, but it remains narrow. While it can write a great essay in seconds, it doesn't understand what it's writing. But what if the AIs stopped being narrow? General AI. What makes humans different from current AI is our general intelligence. Humans can technically absorb any piece of knowledge and start working on any problem. We're great at many very different skills and tasks, from playing chess to writing or solving science puzzles. Not equally, of course. Some of us are experts in some fields and beginners in others, but we can technically do all of them. In the past, AI was narrow and able to become good at one skill, but was rather bad in all the others. Simply by building faster computers and pouring more money into AI training will get us new, more powerful generations of AI. But what if the next step for AI is to become a general intelligence like us, an AGI? If the AI improvement process continues as it has been, it's not unlikely that AGI could be better in most or even all skills that humans can do. We don't know how to build AGI, how it will work, or what it will be able to do. Since narrow AIs today are capable...
I just wanted to make a quick note about something because it's kind of humorous. Sometimes the very people that are the biggest proponents of progression and all this stuff are the same people that retreat into wilderness. Are the same people that are like, I'm actually, you know, hunting with I'm into this whole thing now. I go out with just a knife. You're like, you know, they're the same person that would be a proponent of development, and there's a course that you got to go on, but at the same time, you got to get back to knifing animals to death in the forest. You know what I mean? That's hyperbole. That's not the exact situation, but sometimes we retreat into this simpler thing. You know, just go camping. Just got to go do something like this. And I'm not judging it because it's a pawing after the truth. You're trying to find the way. Yeah. Right. But I suppose recently between the two of us, we've been looking at a lot of people with kind of a different message about things. Yeah. You know, if you in fact do have all this time, how about you know? And I'll just go back to everything else I said. Yeah. Take some time to think about your actual situation. You know, right now. What if you didn't have to go anywhere? Yeah. What if when you got home from work, you didn't actually have to do some of the things you're doing? Yeah. And to those that say, I like to do the things I'm doing, never mind. That's fine. Enjoy.
Capable of mastering one mental task quickly, AGI might be able to do the same with all mental tasks. So even if it starts out stupid, an AGI might be able to become as smart and capable as a human. While this sounds like science fiction, most AI researchers think this will happen sometime this century, maybe already in a few years. Humanity is not ready for what will happen next, not socially, not economically, not morally. Earlier, we defined intelligence as the ability to learn, reason, acquire knowledge and skills, and use them to solve problems, all things humans excel at. An AGI as intelligent as even an average human would already disrupt modern civilization because they're not bound by the same limitations as we are. Today's AIs like ChatGPT already think and solve the tasks they were made for at least 10 times faster than even very skilled humans. Maybe AGI will be slower, but it may also be faster, maybe much faster. And since AGIs are software, you could copy them endlessly as long as you have enough storage and run them in parallel. There are 8 million scientists in the world. Now imagine an AGI copied 1 million times and put to work. Imagine 1 million scientists working 24/7, thinking 10 times faster than humans without being distracted, only focused on the task they've been given. What if, suddenly, AGI could do all intelligence-based jobs in the world, from interpreting law, to coding, to creating animated YouTube videos, better, faster, and much cheaper than humans? Would whoever controls this AGI suddenly own the economy? And thinking bigger, human progress is our intelligence applied to problems. So what could 1 million AGIs achieve? Solve fundamental questions of science, like dark energy. Invent new technology that gives us limitless energy, fix climate change, cure aging and cancer. But then again, sadly, humans apply their intelligence not just for the benefit of all. What if the AGIs are tasked to guide drones or pull the triggers in war? Or to engineer a virus that only kills people with green eyes? Or to create the most profitable social media so addictive that people starve in front of their screens? The creation of AGI could reasonably be as big of an event as taming fire or electricity, and give whoever invents it equally as much power. But now let's go one step further. What if the potential of AGI doesn't stop here? Intelligence explosion. Intelligence and knowledge build and accelerate each other, but humans are limited by biology and evolution. Once we evolved the right hardware, our software outpaced evolution by orders of magnitudes, and within a heartbeat, we ruled this planet. But our software basically hasn't changed much since then, which is why we have obesity and destroy the climate for short-term gains. Since AGI is software on a computer, once it's smart enough to do AI research, the rate of AI progress should speed up a lot. And that results in better AI that's better at AI research without much human involvement. It may even be possible that AI could learn how to directly improve itself, in which case some experts fear this feedback loop could be incredibly fast. Maybe just months or years after the first self-improving AGI is switched on. Maybe it would actually take decades. We simply don't know. This is all speculative. But such an intelligence explosion might lead to a true super-intelligent entity. We don't know what such a being would look like, what its motives or goals would be, what would go on in its inner world. We could be as laughably stupid to a superintelligence as squirrels are to us, unable to even comprehend its way of thinking. This hypothetical scenario keeps many people up at night. Humanity is the only example we have of an animal becoming smarter than all others, and we have not been kind to what we perceive as less intelligent beings. AGI might be the last invention of humanity. It's possible that it could become the most intelligent and therefore most powerful being on Earth. A god in a box that could exercise its power to bring unimaginable wealth and happiness to humans while securing our future. Or it could subvert civilization and bring about our end, with humanity unable to come up with a way to stop it. We'll look at some of these potential futures in more videos, but for now, let's wrap up. The only thing we know for sure is that today, right now, many of the largest and richest companies in the world are racing to create ever more powerful AIs. Whatever our future is, we are running towards it.
I feel like I need a thumbnail. Ah! Don't do that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I like Kurzgesagt videos, but it seemed to be like, I don't know, maybe it's a warning. Instead of stoking fear, maybe we just need to heed the warning of Kurzgesagt about AI. But what's that saying? Like, humans are the sex organs of the AI gods that will end up taking us over or whatever like that. I don't know.
You could say it any way you want. Humans are the sex organs of the earth. The sex organs of every you know. Not everybody's a sex organ, you know, and it's amazing that we could sit here and communicate, and we communicate with symbols and ideas, and other people can understand. That's pretty cool. And then you can look at that whole function happening. But I am thinking about the idea of, people using it for warfare and the race to get to things, and the proclivity of people, if you even suggest, to set down the label gun for a second. You got this label gun and you're labeling the shit out of everything, and things getting super complicated, and you just even suggest for a second to put down the label gun.
Yeah.
How do you label the labeler? And then you go internally and there's a big label-orama. And you just go, try to let go of all that for a second. The fact that some people be up in arms as if they're not possessed by a bunch of ideas, and I don't want to be unsympathetic to real biological issues that cause real-time pain, or serious neurological issues that cause, at a chemical level, intrusive thoughts or something like that. But you can research a little bit about well-being, but if you don't start to get a little objective about all the different content going into your brain, you're looking up how to be on a good diet while at the same time watching something that shamelessly plugs, rat poison in hidden as food. Yeah. You're putting all of it in. You're not being discerning at all about your state of being, and you just conclude very intellectually that the state of being is a horrible mess. Think of the first rule of Buddhism: life is the first noble truth. Life is suffering. But that's within context. You could go a little bit further. Yeah. Which is why sometimes you see people that have just been around a long time, and they get a little chilled out, and they get a little bit they develop wisdom over time. Sometimes it just takes time. You're a sitting duck when you're a youngster. When you're little, you're influenced by whatever environment you grew up in. That's going to influence your story, thought, narrative of how things are. Even if it's only a rebellion against those things. Even if you live to rebel against the people that taught you, that's it's a different direction that you're sort of possessed by.
Yeah. I'm choosing to sit back and enjoy the show. That's my take on it.
And I'm with you. Yeah. But somebody out there going to violently, adamantly against that. Well, you got to be out there doing something. Do something. Yeah. What more could you do?
I think it's
how many roads must a man walk down?
Yeah. Every day is like its own movie. Watching all this develop, its reality is fascinating in and of itself, and it's interesting to enjoy right now, at least from my perspective. I'm excited to see where this kind of takes us. My hope is that it will become something that is beneficial and not detrimental to our evolution. But hey, guys, let us know in the comments what you think about all the stuff that we said in this video, and what you think about AI, where it's taking us, and this video here. And if you liked it, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend. Everyone till next time, stay spiritual.